You built this MSP for years, but you still can't answer one simple question. What's it worth? By the end of this video, I'm going to show you how to figure out how much your business is actually worth. Because in a future video, I'm going to be sharing with you how much of a multiple you can get and things to increase or decrease that multiple. And before you're like, Harrison, I'm not even there yet. Don't worry about it. It's really important because you might not realize it's important to have that end number in mind before you even get there. And if you're looking to exit your MSP, you need to know how much your business is really worth, because without that, you might not get as much as you were hoping. And if you're building that way, it helps to know the numbers beforehand. How are you doing? My name is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. We help MSPs just like you build your MSP by teaching you how to sell your services so you can generate more revenue to better clients, and also how to generate an unlimited number of leads into your business. If you'd like to learn more about us, you can head over to growth-generators.com. We have a ton of information over there. If you want help, we are free. We are absolutely happy to help you. We have a ton of resources, including a shop section here. I'll go over that in 1 second. But from free resources, battle cards, acronym cheat sheets, objection handling cheat sheets, especially if you're really not that great at sales, business plans, truly everything. And currently, for the end or till the end of July, our book is currently on sale, celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States for $17.76. Both on Amazon and the website. If you've read it, we would really appreciate a 5-star review. I'm trying to get to 50 reviews by the end of this year. And truthfully, it has been amazing as far as the journey actually goes. So let's talk about how to figure out what your MSP is actually worth, because I think a lot of MSPs don't really think about it. And well, that's not really a good thing, to be honest with you, but it's something that, hey, we have this aspirational goal. Is it to build $1 million business? Is it to build a $5 million business, a $10 million business? And then we'll get into multiples in a future video, but we have to figure out what it is actually worth. And sadly, most MSP owners have no idea what their business is actually worth. And most of the time, your accountant actually could tell you. But there's a mathematical equation that I'm going to be bringing up in this video. There's one metric that drives this entire thing that you need to know, and it's called EBITDA. Now, you may have heard it by bumping into other MSPs. It is EBITDA, and I'm going to go through that because it's actually an acronym to share with you what it actually means. But first, let's talk about value. And what does value actually mean for an MSP? Because you hear the term, value here means enterprise value, or what is the value of the business? What kind of value do you provide? It's a very flexible word. It can do a lot of different things. But in this case, the value is what the buyer would pay. Very important. Buyers do not pay for revenue. It's true. They pay for profit that they can keep, right? We are in the money business, and we're one of the sexiest businesses ever. Monthly recurring revenue and ARR, annual recurring revenue, where our checks come in every single month. Whether we get 1,000 tickets or we get no tickets, we still theoretically make the same amount of money every single month. And hopefully it's a ton of money. But buyers want the revenue. And there's a formula that you can actually go through to get what's called EBITDA. That is your actual number, the current value of your business. And like I said, in a future video, I'm going to be talking about the multiples that you can make on EBITDA and the things that are going to go into, hey, are they going to pay you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times what your EBITDA currently is? But the goal is to hopefully make more recurring revenue that increases your EBITDA, right? Increases the amount of profit that you actually have. But let's talk about EBITDA and how do you actually find it? Because this is where things go wrong for most MSPs, because they don't know exactly what it is. And this is a core, believe it or not, fairly basic thing, but sadly nobody ever teaches it, hence why there is a YouTube video about it. You need to go through and understand. EBITDA stands for earnings before. So it's all of your earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. And I pulled up a little Canva thing on here. I didn't think I was going to say it, but if you want to go through it, take a little screenshot. This is what it looks like. It is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So You pay interest on certain things, you pay taxes on certain things, you depreciate certain things, for example, a car, right? A building, maybe your office, and you amortize things, payments over time. These are the core parts of what EBITDA actually is and what it actually stands for. This is truly, as crazy as it sounds, the core of this entire video. But there's different parts that actually go through this. And I want to break down this entire thing, right? We have to start with your net income, right? The net is all of it, right? Your bottom line profits, right? Not gross, net. It's all of it, not gross. Gross is a totally different thing. Net, what you actually have, your bottom line profit, right? We can't take everything. Everything would be gross and it wouldn't be good, right? We have to have net of what it actually is after. Now, we want to add back in the interest, right? That is the interest that you are paying. Now, you might be making payments on a server, you might be making payments on vehicles. There's interest in there in some way or another. Things that you may own may have interest, you might be making payments on certain things, whatever it actually is. Now, we also want to add back in taxes. Taxes are those painful things that we basically shave off every single month and say, hey, the government, at least if you're in the United States, gets typically about 30-ish percent, 30 to 40% of your revenue, right? Better yet, of your profit, right? But we have to add back in taxes because theoretically, a good accountant can help minimize the amount of taxes that we're actually paying, which is fantastic. Nobody wants to pay taxes. The government has plenty of money. I don't care what you think. Trust me, they have more than enough money. Nobody wants to pay taxes. And if you want to pay taxes, this is probably not the channel for you, right? We want to make sure that we add back in taxes. Now, we also want to add back in depreciation. Now, depending on what you actually buy, certain things can be depreciated faster or slower. For example, cars weighing over a certain weight, you can actually depreciate their entire value right up front. Other people or other cars can't be depreciated their entire value every single year, right? You have to, or not even every single year, but one time, right? If you buy a Honda Civic for getting your techs around, or a Ford Focus, or a little Sprinter van, in many cases, those are not heavy enough. Your GRVW, gross weight value, is it's some name for it, but it's basically how much the vehicle weighs and whether or not the government is going to allow you to depreciate that entire thing. And then amortization, payments on things. At some point or another, I hope your MSP gets big enough that you buy a building. Now, I don't own this building, but if I did, right, that's an amortization. Your payments along with that. And there's plenty of other things that you can amortize as well over time, because you might not want to spend millions of dollars upfront. Makes pretty logical sense in my opinion. That total is your EBITDA. So just to cover, right, it is your net income. You're going to add back interests, taxes, your depreciations, and amortizations, because typically when somebody goes and buys that, that's what they want to know, because they can get creative with a lot of these things to help make it even more profitable. So how does this actually make sense? I want to make some basic numbers for you to help you fully understand this. Let's say your net income is $120,000. Great, right? Your interest is $10,000. Your taxes are an additional $40,000. Your depreciation, $15,000. And your amortization is $5,000. Your EBITDA equals that 120,000 plus the 10,000 plus the 40,000 plus the 15,000 plus the 5,000, which gives you a grand total of $190,000. That is what your business is currently worth today. But now I say the word worth with a little bit of hesitation. Worth is typically what somebody else is willing to pay you for it. But you can rest easy at night knowing that your EBITDA in this scenario is $190,000. Your business on a one-to-one exchange, meaning somebody says, I'm going to buy your business based on the EBITDA that it has, is worth $190,000. Net income, interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, all added in this case, $190,000. So like I said, it doesn't matter if you're a multi-million-dollar MSP or you're a smaller MSP. EBITDA is super important. But here's the MSP twist, right? Because now that's a really solid number. In many cases, that's a good benchmark for most businesses to be sold at, right? That's a general ballpark how they figured out. But this number actually is the number that buyers are going to use with multiples. Like I said, that video is actually coming down the road. But you have to add back your owner pay, right? Your owner pay is worth something, it's not worth nothing. At some point or another, you're going to be taking money from the business legally, right? And putting it in your own pocket. You have to pay yourself. Crazy concept. I'm here to help you get paid, right? But you have to pay yourself. Let's say you pay yourself $250,000, but you hired a manager. That manager would cost $120,000, right? You can add back, I don't know, $130,000 in money because you have to pay yourself, but you hired a manager that would cost $120,000. That's an additional 130, right? You also want to add back a one-time cost that won't repeat. A lawsuit, a big one-off project. I mean, we do a million things that are typically one-offs. I probably hear that term more than I actually should because it should be a lot of proactive stuff, but there are always going to be one-offs. Huge projects are a prime example. A lawsuit, a legal expense, those are parts of it that are one-time costs, right? We also want to add back personal expenses that you run through the business. Very important. Your car, the thing that gets you to and from the office and on site. Travel, memberships, MSP Heroes, Tech Tribe, any of the other ones. They're prime examples. Those things are actually part of your expenses because you're using them to actually grow. These add back and also help raise your EBITDA to come up with your final sale price. Now, I'm just using these as an example, your car, travel, memberships, but there's a ton of different things that we maybe expense through our business for ourselves because we kind of do both, right? We kind of use it for personal, we also kind of use it for the business. Now, I'm sure there's an accountant grinding their teeth at me. Calm down. I'm not a tax expert. I never claimed to be a tax expert. This is not tax or legal advice. Okay, but this is how it's calculated in most cases, right? We have to add that back. Now, let's talk about EBITDA to value, the multiple, right? Your value equals adjusted EBITDA, right? All those things added back in times a multiple. And I'm going to go in and talk a little bit more about that in a future video, but that's how you actually take it. So you have to add in all the things that can help you increase that EBITDA. You can't lie because if you ever do go to sell at some point down the road, the company that is going to be buying you is going to be doing a ton of homework on you, right? But I will tell you, smaller MSPs typically sell for a lower multiple, while larger MSPs sell for a larger multiple. Who would have guessed? But I want to talk about how that all goes into play because there are some tricky things that can get super involved with it. But think about it, right? If you're a smaller MSP, maybe you're 190,000 adjusted EBITDA, they're giving you a 1-to-1. They might pay you $190,000 for your business. Now that's your money, right? That is the most important thing versus where they're paying for the whole business. Yes, they might be buying cars and things of that nature too. That was all included in there. Trust me, that's the amortization part, that's the deductibles, all that good stuff, right? That has to be, or depreciation, that has to be in there. But when you're a smaller business, it might be a 1-to-1, 190,000 for your adjusted EBITDA. If you're a larger business, it could be many multiples of that. Some of the most successful MSPs out there, I've heard, sell for well over 10x what that number actually is. Meaning 190,000 could be $1.9 million. That's where these numbers actually get crazy. But why knowing your numbers actually matters? Because I want to make sure I round it out nicely in an easy to digest way. You cannot grow what you do not measure. I see this constantly when I'm dealing with MSPs. They tell me, hey, I want to grow. Great. In many cases, I ask them the first question: where's your monthly recurring revenue at, or your annual recurring revenue at? Because sadly, most of them don't know what their EBITDA is. If you know your EBITDA, that's even better. But if you're not measuring, right, your earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, how are you really going to know where your business currently stands? This is really, really important. In a financial world, an accountant loves this because it shows them what levers you need to actually adjust. Sometimes you might realize that you are wasting too much money. You need to increase your recurring revenue money. That's a huge thing. Or your value might be tied to other things that buyers may or may not want to see, but they know what your EBITDA is. In some cases, if your documentation is really good, it absolutely can help you go sell. But these are the things that get you ready. Even if you're not ready to sell, it's important to have a good financial snapshot of what you're currently working with. Because the worst time to sell a business is when you actually need to sell your business. The best time to sell your business is when everything seems to be working super smoothly. So you can quite literally give the keys to the castle to the next business owner and know that they know that everything's going to run the way that it should be, and you can maximize the amount of actual payout. It protects you from getting a lowball offer, but it's just good to know, hey, my business at this current place in time is worth this much money. At the bare minimum, a 1-to-1. If I needed to sell it tomorrow, what would it actually be worth? Now, EBITDA is kind of a pain in the butt because there's a little bit of work that you actually have to do, but it protects you from knowing your worth and helping you avoid a lowball offer. So at the end of this video, I encourage you to pull your P&L. If you're not running QuickBooks, don't worry about it. If you have a bookkeeper, if you have an accountant, ask them, hey, ballpark, what do you think my EBITDA actually is? And run through it. Is it a number that you're happy with? A number that you're not happy with? But having a general idea of what that number actually is going to set you further than most MSPs, because truly, most MSPs look at their business as, I make this much per month, I have this many tickets I have to deal with, and I have no idea what my business is worth if somebody was to ever offer to buy it from me. Who knows? Maybe the offer is out there and you just don't know it because you don't know what your EBITDA is, for you to walk away, buy the dream house, buy the Lamborghini or Ferrari or motorcycle, and be done with the business. And I'm not saying that you should be, but you never know if that offer is out there until you know your numbers. I hope this video helped you. If it did, please hit a like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye. Also, if you've made it this far in the video, I apologize. I've been traveling like crazy lately. Videos coming out, as I'm sure you've seen. There will be videos coming regularly now, but it's been pretty crazy traveling with my own MSP, traveling with growth generators, and helping MSPs out there. And then I can learn all that information and bring it back to you guys. Now I'll see you guys later. Bye.